So let's stick on the Masters topic and talk about as you said, the day odds are now behind us.
Yep.
So taking a look at the Masters board, what do you see right now that intrigues you, that you think could change?
Yeah, so I mean, the odd boards right now has Scheffler, Rory, and John Rahm all at 7-1, like clearly above everyone else. Then the next guy is at 18-1. That's Jordan Spieth.
That's big,
So I
and
mean,
that's not going to
the
stay the
books are
same.
right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you want to bet one of those big three, I think wait, because I think you'll be able to find them at 9 or 10 or maybe even 12-1 if you get lucky next week.
Yes.
The guys I'm eyeing right now, and again, I'm not making these bets because I don't think these numbers are going to get worse. I think they might stay the same. They might get better. But Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa are both 22-1. Those two guys are on my short list. And listen, if they're 22-1 next week, I'll bet them at that number. But again, I'm just going to wait because I think there's a chance that I get one of them at 25-1 next week.
Yeah, I think you probably. Yeah, I'm actually a little. Tell you the truth, I think if I had to pick the one of them, I might pick Cantlay. But we've been saying this for months. All you have to do is when you take a look at the board here, there are just so many players, big names, sexier names than Cantlay, and maybe even Morikawa that have played well here that could bump those odds for both of those players to a much more inviting number. Like, for instance, and I'm not going to go over everything because we're going to talk about it next week, but players that have been playing well at the Masters coming in. Obviously, Scheffler defending champ. Rory second last year. Rahm has 4 top 10s in his last 5. We know about Spieth at the Masters. Schauffele with 2 top 5s in his last 4. Cameron Smith with 3 straight top 10s, 2 top 5s, and a runner-up in his last 3. Justin Thomas has never missed a cut. He was 8th last year. You mentioned Morikawa, 5th last year. Zalatoris, if you're not so concerned with his injury, 6th last year, 2nd before that. You mentioned Jason Day. He's got a great record. So, look, there's several others I can go. So there's players out there that are definitely going to make it a little easier. And I agree. I think if I'm you or if I'm anybody interested in Patrick Cantlay or Colin Morikawa, especially I think Cantlay because he doesn't have the major appeal yet that Morikawa has. I think Cantlay could at least be 25-1.
I think so too. Now, the big question I wanted to ask you your thoughts on this: what do we do with the LIV guys? I mean, some of the odds are kind of. I mean, Joaquin Niemann 50-1, kind of enticing to me. Patrick Reed 65-1, obviously, has the win here. I don't know what to do with those guys. They haven't played much. When they have played, I'm not sure, how much they've really been into it. So they're the tough ones to figure out for me.
I think that, and unfortunately, the guy that makes the most sense has the lowest odds, and that's Cam.
Yeah, DJ.
No, Cam
Smith.
Cam,
yeah. Right.
Who'd you say?
Yep. Dustin Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, DJ is just, first of all, he's already got a Masters, and I just don't think that he's worth, because he's in that group of like 20 players between 18 and 30-1, Yep. But I think Cameron Smith, it would be the only guy that I'd look, the odds are low, but the guy is just tailor-made for this golf course.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's ever coming back to the PGA Tour again. So, yeah, I think he would be the guy. I don't know if I'd go. I don't know. What other long shots? I don't know if Reed, since he's already got a green jacket, would be appealing to me. Who else was the long shot you talked about?
I mean, Taylor Gooch is 80. Sergio Garcia is 80.
Yeah, Gooch was 14th last year, but he's only made one appearance, though.
Right. The other guy I mentioned was Joaquin Niemann at 50-1.
Yes. Yeah. What about Niemann? 50-1.
He's interesting. Yeah. I'm looking at Cam Smith's Masters history though. I mean, 20-1 seems not bad for him. I mean, 3rd last year, 10th the year before that, 2nd the year before that, 5th on his 2nd appearance here in 2018. I mean, that's as good of a 5-year run as you're going to see. So
absolutely.
20-1 ain't bad on Cam Smith. I'm not sure what Niemann has done here. He's never been in the mix. I know that. I can pull it up.
No, 35th last year was his best result. Yeah, Yeah, so because of that, and to tell you the truth too, is I tell you what, maybe the one guy also I'd look at is the guy that was in contention a few weeks ago was Leishman, because he's like 80-1. He has a couple of top fives at the Masters, and he was playing pretty well. You know who I'd like to see here is isn't Charles Howell? Isn't he an Augusta native?
He is.
Isn't it too
Is he in the
bad?
field?
I mean, because he's like playing the best golf. Doesn't he have 2 LIV Tour wins?
At least one, I know.
I could have sworn I could have.
He might.
I don't know. I don't pay full attention to it, but I think.
Oh, the other LIV guy, and it's another guy. I don't think he has a great history here, but Abraham Answer is 80-1.
Yeah, he has 2 top 30s, 1 top 15.
Yeah,
Casey would be interesting to me because he's 80-1.
Yep.
50%. Actually, it's more than 50% of his results are top 20s, and he has 5 top 10s and 1 top 5. And about 7-8 years ago, I always thought Paul Casey was going to win a green jacket.
Yeah.
So
yeah, again, the odds are enticing on all these guys, but when it comes down to it, I don't think I'm going to bet any of them.
The LIV guys.
Yeah, the LIV guys. There's just too much unknown for me with what they've been doing for the past year.
Yeah, because to tell you the truth, Cam Smith, it's not like he's playing well.
Right.
I guess this is what happens when you get big paycheck.
Exactly.
Who needs to go out there and mentally? But that's the thing, though, is like you were saying, we don't know. I mean, Cam Smith since January, and guys like that have all they've been focusing on is the Masters. Hey, I don't care what the hell happens when I'm doing. I'm playing these 2 or 3 LIV Tour events before the Masters, like I'm playing Augusta, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that to get my game ready. So we don't know. I mean, I would guess that would be the case.
Should be.
Yeah.
All right. Can I reveal my my trends thing I've been working on here?
Okay. So you've got this.
I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited. Yeah. So the conventional wisdom has always been, Masters winners for the most part, 1, are in good form coming in, and 2, have had experience and done well at Augusta before, right? That's kind of what we always hear. So I actually looked into the numbers. 8 of the last 11 Masters winners checked all 3 of these boxes. They had at least 1 previous top 20 at Augusta. They were averaging 1.9 or better strokes gained total in the 3 months leading up to their win at Augusta. And they were averaging 1.4 plus strokes tee to green in the 3 months leading up. So again, just, they had experience and have had a top 20 at Augusta, and they're just playing well in the 3 months leading up to the win. So I looked at those 3 boxes to see, which guys currently qualified, which guys currently hit all 3. There are only 5 guys right now that hit all 3 of those boxes.
All right.
Scotty Scheffler, obviously.
Scheffler.
John Rahm. John Rahm, not a surprise. Number 3, Colin Morikawa. Number 4, Jason Day.
Our boy. Okay.
And number 5, Tyrrell Hatton.
Uh-oh.
Kind of a surprise.
Tyrrell Hatton.
So only 5 guys check all 3 of those boxes.
Hatton.
Again, 8 of the last 11 winners have checked all 3 of those boxes coming in.
Interesting. Okay. Very good. Again, it's not 100%, but it's very, those are the trends that we talk about on a weekly basis that you have to look at. And I think every name except Hatton, because Hatton doesn't have much experience in a positive light here at Augusta.
That's the thing. He has a bad course history, but he has the 1 top 20.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and let's remember this. See, I think what happens too, here's another tip. What happens is you get so caught up in the pageantry of the Masters that when you're making predictions, and I'm not just talking about the favorites, I'm talking about, okay, well, who might be a good sleeper? Who might be a good dark horse? Because dark horses do win the Masters. Sleepers win. I think what happens is a lot of times we just discount certain players because they're just not a sexy pick. They're not like, oh, man, this guy's going to win a Masters, that kind of thing. When Willett won, unfortunately, we thought he won prematurely, that he was going to be a player to watch, He won it before anybody thought he was ready for it. Then he had the injuries and so forth. But then you have even Bubba. I mean, for Bubba to win twice, when really he's just your average good player on tour who happens to bomb it. And by the way, the bombing thing too, you can throw that out the door as the be-all, end-all. Now, it's important, very important. But all you got to do is take a look at Bryson DeChambeau. He is terrible. And this was when he was playing great golf. He's awful at Augusta. But yeah, just take a look at some of the winners. I mean, some of the winners that have owned green jackets are not always the sexy pick.
For sure, but going back to Bubba, and I have the numbers in front of me. You look at his run in the lead up to his wins at Augusta in 2012 and 2014. He was playing some of the best golf of his career. He was one of the top 5 golfers in the world, like in that 3-month lead up. Just if you look at the strokes gain numbers. So you're right. They're not always the sexy big names, but for the most part. And by the way, the two like outliers that weren't playing super well heading into their Masters wins were Patrick Reed in 2018 and Hideki Matsuyama in 2021. Those guys did not hit the thresholds that I talked about. Willett, by the way, he was I said 8 out of the last 11. So the 3 outliers were Patrick Reed, Hideki, and the third was Willett. Willett didn't hit that because he didn't have a prior top 20 at Augusta, but he did hit those strokes gain thresholds. He had been playing really well heading into his Masters win.
It was only, I believe, his second appearance.
That sounds right.
So that'll do it.
Yeah.
And here's another one. The last player, and this helps for this week. The last player to win this event, if you like a Tyrrell Hatton or Ricky Fowler or Siwoo Kim, guys like that. The last player to win this event, the Masters, after missing a cut the event prior, and again, it's the event prior, not the week prior, the event prior, was Angel Cabrera in 2009. Now, Cabrera ended up being the lowest ranked winner at Augusta at 69th. So the limited field too is really what does it, which is a good thing. I like the limited field because you don't get the really, really crazy long shots that like, oh, does that guy really kind of deserve a green jacket kind of thing. So if you win the green jacket, chances are like 95% of the time, you're a pretty good player.
For sure.
I mean, and by the way, Cabrera was one of those outliers though, because he was like, he won like 1 or 2 events on the PGA Tour, and he's got like what, 2 or 3 majors. I think he's got 2.
Yeah. So again, the 5 guys, Scheffler and Rahm, they're both 7-1. Yeah, I said Morikawa at 22. I'd have no issue betting him right now if you wanted to. Jason Day 22. That's getting short for me.
I think at this point you wait and maybe you get more for Jason Day.
I would think you could get a 30 next week.
Yeah.
Hatton right now is 35-1. We got to see about this hand thing. I know we talked about it because we both had him one and done at the match play, and it seemed like during warm-ups on Wednesday something happened with his hand or wrist. Now, he ended up playing all 3 matches at the match play.
Lost all 3. Well.
Didn't play well. And he's as of now, as of Monday night, still in the field at Valero. So if he ends up playing Valero and playing well enough, I mean, I think we can put the hand concerns behind. So like at that point, I would consider Hatton at 35-1. But I'm not betting him right now because I just want to see if he plays this week and if he plays well.
Well, you know what you do is you pretty much just I'd give him I give him Thursday once you see how he plays.
Sure.
Is he healthy? Is he playing? Did he not shoot a 76? You know, if he's hey, you know what? He's tied for top 25 after round 1 and he played the whole round, then go right to the Masters board. And if you like him, go ahead and take him.
But he's one to definitely watch closely this week because if he plays very well and if he comes like top 5, his odds might drop to 30.
That's true.
If he plays well enough and finishes, 28th, I think you could get him at 40 or 45 next week.
see if I notice any other strange odds. Well, Zalatoris, I don't think there's any way he's going to stick at 20. I know he's got the history here.
Yeah.
Again, you have so many players between 18 and 30 to 1. It can't stay that way. Some of these guys are going to be moved back a little bit. A couple of them will move forward. But I just, why would you bet on Zalatoris the way he's been playing? And it's just unfortunate right now. It looks like it's not working out for him.
Yeah, I'm kind of off him. I think, as I've been saying for a lot of this year so far, it's not the putting stuff. I know there were a couple ugly short putts that he missed at match play, but it's still, I think, the back injury, and as we talked about, he had to change his swing because of the back injury, and I just don't think he's there yet. So yeah, I'm off Zalatoris for now. Yeah, he'd have to be 40 or 50 to 1 for me to consider.
I don't think these odds are going to go down, but an interesting player that has started to play better over the last several years at the Masters at 50 to 1 is Shane Lowry. Lowry really didn't do much the first few years at Augusta, but all of a sudden in his last 3, all top 25s and 3rd last year, which is his best. But I think he'll stay right around 50. No word on Tiger yet?
No confirmation that he's playing. I'm still assuming he's gonna, but
if anybody thought him winning in whatever it was, 2019 was a miracle, this would be a miracle. So,
and we saw it last year with him, just how tough a walk this course is. By Sunday, he was having trouble just getting around.
It would be a good bet actually is whether we make the cut. He's made 23 of 24 cuts. That would be I wonder what the odds would be on that one.
I remember betting it last year because it was a big promotion, Tiger.
Oh, was
but
it?
I think it was even money. I think they had it at plus 100 to make the cut.
Another long shot, but again, I don't think these odds are going down. I actually, like Casey, maybe same time frame, about 5-6 years ago, I really felt Justin Rose was going to win a green jacket.
Yeah,
and now he's got to win.
Yeah.
So. See, what I like to look at too are when players that may not have good years come, especially the veteran ones, they come back the next year early on and they start playing better than they did, and especially if they got a win. First thing I think about is I'm going to remember that for a major, and Justin might be a really good one.
I'm just looking at Rose now. He obviously checks the box of having a top 20. At the Masters, he does fall. He's pretty close to hitting those strokes gained numbers I mentioned, but he falls a bit short of them. So he hasn't been playing quite as well as these previous Masters winners have been.
Ricky, now his odds could definitely go. Now, I tell you what, he's not a bad idea if you like him, because at 65 to 1. If he plays well this week, and I really can't imagine that he won't the way he's playing.
Well, he has to. He's not in the Masters. He has to win this week to get in.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Even
and
better.
That's where you got to be careful with the futures odds, though, because if you bet Ricky now as a futures bet and he doesn't get in the field, you're still out that money.
That's who else? Anybody else have notable names other than Ricky that needs to win to get in?
Most guys in this field, honestly, I think there's like 8 guys in the Valero field that are in the Masters. Like everyone else is in a win-or-in situation. I don't know if there's any other like big names. I have to go back and pull up
I would probably now put a little. What is Ricky? Like 14 to 1.
He's one of the. He's like 16 or 18 to 1. He's like the third favorite. He's playing well. He's playing very well.
He's playing well, and he's good at the Masters. So. That's what I was going to say, because at 65 to 1, if he ends up with so the problem is you get those trends about winning. I mean, playing the week before a Masters or a major, and who does that, and how many times has somebody won the week before a Masters or a major? But the really difficult part is winning before the major and then winning the major too. That's the difficult thing, because you put so much energy into winning a PGA Tour event, and all of a sudden you got to go right back, and especially if you don't have the week off. But Hey,
Yeah,
if
I
that's
mean,
the only way Ricky
if
could get in, he doesn't care.
exactly. So if you want to bet the Ricky 65 to win the Masters, you 100% need to parlay that with
There you
him to
go.
win Valero. If
Absolutely.
that hits you're rich. So.
Yeah. And make sure, of course, that you put straight money on winning the Valero, though. So that's a good one. Let's see what else. Anybody else as far as a long shot? Let's see.
Yeah, honestly, I don't usually go too far down the board at the Masters. I do like the Lowry call.
By the way, is Webb playing the Masters?
Let me see. Yep, looks like he's qualified.
Okay, because that's what is he?
Odds wise,
Yeah, it's got to be over 100, I would think.
Yeah, he definitely is over 100.
Let's see. Got him.
I don't see him listed on DraftKings, but in the field list I have here, he's in it.
Okay, because look, I know he hasn't played well at all for a year or so, but 24th at Bay Hill, missed the cut at Players. Anybody can do that. We saw what he did at Valspar, tough golf course, and if you look at Masters, the last 5 have been like his best 5. 35th last year, but before that, 12th, 10th, 5th, and 20th. So, again, we're talking long shots. He's got the major pedigree, so he would be somebody. But his odds are not going to change. So it's something we could talk about next week. But
Yep.
All right. So yeah, and I don't think there's any other major trends. But the thing is like we said, if you I'll ask you this because this is important before we move on to the Texas event. We just talked about anybody that wants to use this as a parlay and try to match it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me just some early feelings on who are some players that you like, that you're thinking about before you really do your 100% data, and you have to have a about 10 guys like in your mind that are like, yeah, these are the guys that I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, I mean, so if you're talking about parlaying and you want one of the shorter guys, for me it's Scotty Scheffler. Like,
I agree. Out of the top
like
3,
the way,
yeah.
I hate to say, but it's like it's tough to see him not being in the mix on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then at that point, if he closes or not, but I mean, he's just playing so well. And again,
by the way, I wonder what happened to him. Did he get? Did somebody stick a mic in his face after the that short putt he missed?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
No,
I would have liked to have had. I mean, it's like it wasn't that difficult, and he was taking forever. And it's like you knew once you started taking forever, it was like, what's going on here? He's not. I mean, he can't be choking. He doesn't. I mean, this is not that important.
Right. Yeah.
So that was.
But I mean, I think Scheffler deserves to be the standalone favorite, and I think he will end up that way when they re-release these odds on Monday. But then I mean, otherwise for me, it's Cantlay, it's Morikawa, it's Tyrrell Hatton, and again, I like your Shane Lowry call. That honestly, I think that's about as far down the board as I would go at this point, and maybe things will change a week from now. But I think Shane Lowry at 50-1 is as deep as I would go.
Yeah, I can't take Jordan seriously when he's the 4th choice.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's going to hold?
It might. I don't know. I don't know who would pass him.
I think Cam Smith should pass him.
I think Cam Smith should pass him. I don't know if he will. I mean, people love betting Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
I know the guy's won, but I have some. I mean, he's won and his game seems to be back.
Yeah.
But I have some closing concerns with him. What happened at Valspar, with that shanked drive into the water on 16 or whatever it was.
He really it looked like he was, after the first day, it looked like he was going to cruise in match play. And he was, and then the next day I look up and he's 5. Who was he lose to? Was it Hughes?
Montgomery, wasn't it?
Was it? All of a sudden I look up and I'm like, wait a second. Yeah. How the hell is he down 4 or 5 strokes to this guy?
So, yes, I mean, I think Spieth's alive, but I would not bet him at 18-1.
Yeah. Yeah, because he did choke once before, and I can imagine if that happened, if that scenario came up, I'm not sure I'd be
Yeah.
feeling pretty
I would.
good.
Yeah, I would like to see Spieth in the mix on
Yeah, it
Sunday
would
at
be
Augusta.
great.
That'd be fun.
Absolutely. Surprised that he's not playing this week.
A little, but again, I think I had said last week just this kind of run up. A lot of these guys haven't had a week off, or maybe they've had 1 week off in the past 4 or 5. So I think it obviously makes sense for most of them to be skipping this.
And then, guys, I'm starting to look at. I agree with you with Scheffler, Cam Smith. I'm going to think hard about.
Yeah.
But I probably Day, of course, we've already talked about. I'd probably say, and I've already mentioned Lowry. I mentioned most of them. Lowry, Rose, as far as some long shots. Oh, and remember this too. When Sergio Garcia won in 2017, people might think, oh, yeah, Sergio was a really good player, and he's come close to winning majors before. It was the most unlikely win of a major from a good player at a specific venue. Sergio, over his career, had been terrible at Augusta and had even admittedly said he'd never win there. And he goes out and he won that year. Like, I just kept thinking, eventually he's going to have a bad round. Like, by the time he got through, once it got to the weekend, it was like, no, something's going to happen. It just can't continue. And so that's what I had so really special about Augusta is that even every once in a while, strange things can happen.
But I mean, I'll say again, he checked all 3 of those boxes that I have here. He had a prior top 20, and
So he was one of the 8 out of the 11.
Yeah, yep. He checked all 3 of those boxes. He had a top 20, and he was playing very well coming in.